So following this week of more personal videos and more personal development information, I wanted to share with you what I spoke a bit before, which was about saying no and the need that we have as football coaches or anything else that we want to become, and also in our personal lives, to learn how to say no. It was a challenge for me. It still is a couple of times because a lot of times people want you to do a lot of different things, and the fact is that your day only has 24 hours like everyone else. You should rest and have a breather and have some personal space every day if possible, and it's really hard sometimes to choose what you should say no to. And this follows up the previous reel, which is understanding what you want, what's your path. So first, what's your purpose, what are the objectives that you want for you, and when you know that, you will be able to know your path, and it will be much easier to say no to things, because you will be able to understand, okay, uh, so imagine that the path and your purpose is to do is to become the best football coach that you can, and somebody invites you to go to do a speak about leadership in basketball. Okay, and you feel, okay, leadership, yeah, leadership suits me as a football coach, but it's more in regards to basket, so the audience will be more about basketball. They also have asked me to prepare a presentation that tries to connect football with basketball. This will take me 10 hours to do it properly, because I don't like to go give shallow information. I like to go deep on the information that I give. But this is also the same week that I have to prepare a very big match for the weekend. It will be really hard to cope with both. If I do both, I will be average in both, and I don't want to be average with my football team. So that starts to form as a no, or at least as a no, not at this time, maybe in the future. So it's really important that you have a clear purpose and path, so that you can learn how to say no to different things, okay? Also, going backwards to your path to become a coach, as I told you, there were a lot of sacrifices, and it's something that we can do a big video about, is the sacrifices that you need to do to become the best version of the football coach that you can become. You have to study every day, you have to work hard every day, you have to think about your training sessions, you have to review them, and it's really important that you understand that it's like being a doctor, being an engineer, being a judge. You have to study a lot, and it's a very demanding profession. So you have to learn to say no to a lot of things. Yeah, as I told you, when I began, I was just work for a long time, a big couple of years, and that was really important to me to understand that every time I said a yes, it was a few hours that I lost in regards to something that was in line, even though at the moment I wasn't still sure about my purpose. But everything that was outside of football, for me, it was not in line with my possible future desires and dreams, and so I had to always balance it a lot. Okay, that meant sacrifices, a lot of sacrifices. It was the time where I learned to say no, and when you say no a lot of times to social events, to be with your friends, to be with your family, it's normal that things separate a bit. Yeah, so for me, the big things that I wanted to keep close was football and was family. So everything else at the moment started to at that moment started to go a bit further. I started to say no to almost all the events. In one or two occasions I said yes, mostly when I was on vacation time, or when I didn't have games, or when even on the days off it was not so easy. Then I started to be very aware of my health, started to train a lot, and I introduced that, and those were my main objectives. So family, football, and health, personal health. Okay, and when you have clear yeses on things that you know that are really important to you, you understand that you have to start to say no to a lot of things. So major idea is, I challenge you to start to identify one thing daily, okay, in your life, being personal or professional, where you are where it's mandatory to say no. You have to say no to, okay? Because also in your profession, in your club, if people start to understand that you are a guy that says yes to everything and that you have a lot of qualities, people will start to demand a lot more than you can achieve well, okay? And it's very important that you are aware of this, is that it's better to do 2 or 3 things really well, if you are a person that likes to do things really well, than to do 7 average, okay, in an average way or so. And this will protect your personal space, this will protect you professionally, and this will make you be able to create time, which is something that I think we all struggle with, is to create time to be able to have a balanced life. Because I can assure you, of course, that as being a coach, you have moments that are completely unbalanced, that your personal life suffers, that you only live to work for a couple of time. But it's really important that if you are completely unbalanced in one time, then you know how to balance it when you can, okay? Just to close the reel, I give you an example. When we were playing Champions League, we were away for a lot of time, traveling all the time and training and watching the games and preparing the next game. And as soon as I got back to Portugal, I completely closed my phone. When I had a day off, the priority was my family. I was prohibited by myself to put anything on the agenda because that's what the priority. So my family were the ones that were not with me for 2, 3, 4 days. Okay, when it was Champions League qualified, it was more than a week that I was away. So when I returned, all to them. Okay, and even when we returned to training sessions, going to work. But when I returned, my priority were them, and I didn't put anything else on my agenda. So try to be as balanced as you can. To be balanced, be sure that you have to learn how to say no.